Today on Asian Pacific America, battling hunger and dealing with excess food and not letting it go to waste. Today we talk with the leaders of Hunger at Home, a Project Innovation grant winner. Still ahead, battling hunger and not letting excess food go to waste. Join us as we talk with the leaders of Hunger at Home. We are back to talk about the winners for the Project Innovation Grant Challenge. Joining us is the CEO and COO of Hunger at Home, Yul Sterner and Denari Brown. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about the story of Yul's son and how he became sort of an inspiration for all of this.
Absolutely. Back in 2008, this began. Seems like forever, 12 years ago. My son, the youngest of four kids, a single dad, we focused a lot of our time on volunteering at the Rescue Mission and Food Bank. And there was just a single moment, Robert, where my son Cassidy looked up at me and said, "Dad, we have to fix this. We have to help. We have to be part of the solution." And the more he realized how many were suffering in the community, the more and more he became involved. And that moment, Hunger at Home began.
Interesting. Out of the mouth of babes, as they say, huh?
Absolutely.
So, Denari, how has that gone? How has that idea evolved into what you're doing today?
It's been ever evolving. It's been a constant change and pivot to what was needed most in the community. At the time when I became involved, I was at Levi Stadium as the executive chef, and I was actually donating hundreds of thousands of pounds of food. And that was the model of Hunger at Home pre-COVID, was that Hunger at Home would rescue large sums of food from corporations and stadiums, entertainment venues, and then get it to the nonprofits who needed it most. And I was happy to be part of that. And then took it to the next level.
That is very interesting. And by the way, now I know why you looked familiar to me. I saw you over there before. So yes, it's good to see you again. You'll tell me, that's really almost kind of mind-boggling in a way, how much food does get wasted, huh? I mean, it says a little bit about, like, given the situation that face homeless and people in need, and to understand how much food gets wasted, it really demands sort of a change in perspective by people, don't you think?
Absolutely. And to put it in perspective, 40% of all food produced globally is wasted, and 25% of that 40% would feed every food insecure individual in our planet, and that's pre-pandemic.
Interesting. So how does the system work here, essentially? How do you take the excess or surplus food and get it to the right people to get it to the people who need it?
So our normal operating model, our mission is we're a conduit between surplus and need. So we work with large venues, convention centers, stadiums, hotels, and we work closely with many nonprofits in the community. So we're a conduit between surplus and need. And obviously everything changed once that pandemic came. And it was just one of the most amazing series of events, from events shutting down, the news of the pandemic, first hotels, resorts, stadiums start calling with hundreds of pounds of food donated. And then tech companies that realized they were closing their cafeterias, and the community at large, any hospitality had an abundance of food. Take that with how many hospitality executives, how many hospitality chefs were all of a sudden furloughed. Now we have this nonprofit made up of all hospitality executives that in their day, in their normal job, prepare tens of thousands of meals. You take that ingredient with more surplus, with skilled staff. We have a chair president that has run NPOs for 30 years. So you have a nonprofit of hospitality execs. You have a president of the board that is basically an NPO consultant guru, and the most active board. Take that with the greatest need that I've seen in my lifetime, of those that are facing food insecurity. Then you take the relationship that we've had with the organization and the wish book, and the monies that were donated just simply allows us to provide not just meals or nutrition. It allows us to provide love, hope, and dignity.
Absolutely. That's one of the best silver linings I've heard about this pandemic. But Denari, the circumstances behind that, though, that helped you with resources as well as expertise, Are you concerned that as we come out of the pandemic, that you'll start to lose some of that? And how do you kind of adjust and make sure that you can still thrive even when all the things go back to normal?
So the circumstances that have led us to where we are today, definitely we're seeing a little bit of improvement, but I definitely think that there's a long road ahead of us, a long road to recovery, especially with um, the vaccines and everything COVID related. We don't really know what the future holds, but what we do know is that the hospitality and service workers that first volunteered with us, then that we were able to hire, were the first to be laid off, furloughed, let go, and they'll be the last to return to work. So we continue to try to employ as many as possible to help us reach our mission and to feed as many as possible. A huge percentage, the majority of the people that come through our weekly distributions are those hospitality workers that used to be my employees and my friends and my colleagues from the different hotels and the stadium. They're still out of work. And between the previous stay-at-home order and just the devastating impact that COVID has had on the hospitality industry, they're not. Their situation is not greatly improving anytime soon. So we want to continue to help them as much as possible for as long as possible.
Very quickly, before we run out of time, how can people help you? And in what areas do you need the most help?
We always need volunteers. It's great to spread awareness, and for the monies that come in continue to allow us to support those that are in need and to support our mission, along with many other nonprofits that are doing great work. But volunteer awareness and food. We work with many large companies, and any connections that can be made, we honor that. We appreciate it, and that helps us to continue our mission. And
All
again,
right.
like Nari said, we're able to employ 24 individuals that would otherwise be furloughed. And I think we need to say just quickly that as of today, we're at 4 million pounds of food in 9 months and 3.2 million meals.
Thank you very much for making sure that is included. And we want to encourage everybody to contact Hunger at Home, help them, and help them help others. Congratulations on your Project Innovation Grant Award. We are glad to see that something like that can help a business like yours succeed. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.